That the officers have the delegated authority to finalize the contract without the contract itself being presented. And in that respect, I did make a little tweak just to make it clear that not only are expressly stated agreements that are presented for approval under that rule, but also any expenditures that are requested and approved. I thought that would avoid any ambiguity or uncertainty. That if basically an expenditure is approved, I think it's expected that the officers would do what's necessary to contracts or approve contracts. So that's what you have in front of you. The substance, as it relates to the electronic participation, is substantively identical to what the City Council, Common Council has approved. So that's what you have. If you have any questions, let me know.
Okay. So because of this resolution, is there to be a required minimum number of RDC members present to vote for that?
By statute, you always have to have at least 50% live. And so for us, that's going to be 3 members physically present.
Okay. I was just curious.
Does anyone else have any questions or comments regarding this, either in person or virtually? Mr. Hopper, even though you can't vote, you can still comment if you'd like. No question.
No questions.
I make a motion that we approve resolution number 2022-09.
Second.
Further discussion? Now, all in favor? I think we can do about that.
Yes, I would still do it by roll call. Just
Okay, a roll call, please.
Okay, Mr. Campbell,
Aye.
Mr. Harris,
Aye.
Mr. Cooper,
Aye. Motion passes 3-0.
and at this point, I would recommend you go ahead and sign. I think it's prepared for your signature.
It is.
We knew that Robert was going to be out of town. And Mr. Harris can sign as well, and that will be completely in effect. Mr. Hopper can take over from there. Very good. It's in effect.
All right. Thank you, sirs.
Hopper?
Thank you, Mr. Hoover. Appreciate it. Is there a motion to approve our minutes from our May 10th meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Campbell,
I'll second that.
Second, I believe, by Mr. Hoover. Sorry. All right. Any questions, comments, corrections, deletions from anyone? All
Comment,
right.
you got the proposed minutes have been prepared for my signature, so I don't think that affects anything. Fine.
It just was to make it convenient since you're here.
I was here.
Sign it immediately. Okay.
All right. Hearing nothing else, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell,
Aye.
Mr. Hopper.
Aye.
Mr. Hoover,
Aye.
and Mr. Harris.
Aye.
All right, minutes are approved 4-0. New business, Riverfront District application for Planetary Brewing. I suppose I should ask first if there have been any changes to the agenda from what was emailed to me, just in case, since I don't have a physical copy there. So if anything I say is wrong, somebody speak up and let me know.
Don't we usually?
So, be happy to.
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right, I assume somebody from Planetary is here to talk.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes, Andrew. I'm Andrew with Planetary Brewing Company. We are submitting for the riverfront exemption on the permit for Madison Avenue location, which would allow us to have a three-way liquor license to be able to add liquor to our offerings as well as the current beer and wine incentive. I already submitted the application to you guys, and just is here to come before you guys and see what you think.
And before we move on, I'll just give my usual statement on these types of applications. The commission has the duty to review the application, determine whether the proposed project would provide an economic benefit to the Riverfront District, and recommend whether the project site should be considered eligible to be a permit premises under Indiana Code 7.1-3-20-16D. Any motion to approve the application should also recommend that the project site be considered eligible to be a quote permitted premises under IC 7-1-3-20-16D and direct the mayor to communicate the approved recommendation to the Alcohol Beverage Commission.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Watson. Any questions for Planetary? Comments? If none, is there a motion to accept, subject to Mr. Watson's eloquent?
Hey, Steph, my dad.
Oh, yep, that's not coming for me.
Mr. Stebbins.
I mean, the lobby's getting kind of crowded, but there's no kid around here. So, all right.
I'll move that we approve the application, subject to any legal review that needs to be accomplished.
And in accordance
Motion by-
with the
In accordance
recommendations.
with the direction we've received from Mr. Watson.
All right, motion by Mr. Hoover, second by Mr. Harris. All right, any discussion from commission members? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Campbell,
Aye.
Mr. Harris,
Aye.
Mr. Hooper,
Aye.
sorry, Mr. Hooper. Mr. Hooper. Sorry.
Aye.
Are we saying Hopper? Because that's me.
Hopper,
I'll
I'm
go,
sorry.
I'll go aye.
I'm sorry.
That was an aye, in case anybody cared.
Yeah.
All right,
Mr.
was
Kirsten?
that all four of us? Sorry.
Yes.
Motion approved 4-0 then. Thank you, Planetary, for coming.
Thank you.
Next up, resolution number 2022-10, a resolution approving an application for property tax deductions for certain real property located within the Worsville Road Economic Development Area, Becknell Industrial Worsville Road, Building 1. Is that you, Mr. Sherman?
Yes, it is.
All right, floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. This is an application from Becknell Industrial. You would remember them as I've done quite a few buildings around Greenwood, including the building that has the Milwaukee Tool and NT Supply. These will be two buildings that are on a 30-acre site. The land is divided approximately in equal parts. The plan will be two 150,000 square foot single load industrial buildings with up to 29 docks per building. It's similar in size and character to the South Tech Park project that's up Main Street and Graham Road. The investment in real estate is a little over 1.4 million. The expected investment in the building is a little over 18.5 million. We're expecting 15 jobs per building to be created at $19.50 an hour. I think the company Becknell has done a great job for us, for Stephen. We project to start on May 1st and we'll commit to have it completed by April 31st of 2024. That's May 1st of 2023, Stephen, and completed on April 31st, 2024.
Thank you, Pat.
Are there any questions that I could answer for the commission?
Any questions for Pat? Pat, I'm trying to look at the map here and figure out exactly where this is at. So south of Worsville, what's to the, is that right? South of Worsville, what's to the west?
It's just to the west of Henderson-Hauser.
Oh, okay.
So it's just on the other side of the railroad tracks from Henderson-Hauser. Can you see that in the map, David?
Yep. And then to the east, there looks like residential to the east.
There is some residential that's to the east that you can see, and there'll be buffering, landscape buffering for that in accordance with the requirements of the city planning.
Okay.
And you can see on other Becknell buildings, they've done a great job with
Right.
the shielding on those mounds.
Okay. Any questions from any other commission members? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Hoover, second by Mr. Campbell, I think.
Harris. Mr. Harris.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Harris.
Yep.
All right, any further discussion from commission members? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell.
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Hoover.
Aye.
Mr. Hopper.
Aye. Was that 4? I'm sorry.
This fourth.
Okay, motion approved 4-0. I need to do a better job with my tallies here. Resolution number 2022-11, resolution approving an application for property tax deductions for certain real property located within the Worsville Road Economic Development Area, Becknell Industrial Worsville Road, Building 2.
This is the sister building, the building number 1 that will be pretty much identical. The land area is a little bit different, but the buildings will be very similar.
Hey,
Go ahead.
yeah, sorry, Kevin. I was just gonna ask Pat, are there any potential tenants at this point, or where are they going with these buildings?
There are no tenants at the moment. As soon as it's approved through the Redevelopment Commission, the council, then they will take them to their representatives, to look for tenants. They're looking obviously for the same quality tenant as they've done with Milwaukee Tool. So they're looking for long-term tenants. They could bifurcate into two, but they'd like to get a single tenant.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
Yes,
Go ahead, Mr. Campbell.
the SB ones are almost identical. So are they talking about 15 employees per building or 15?
Yes, they're per building.
Right.
And the hourly rate, Mike, is the same as well, the 19.5. They are virtually identical buildings.
Yeah, all right.
And Pat, the same start and completion date?
Yes, the same start would be May 1st and April 31st of 24, May 1st of 23.
Any more questions for Mr. Sherman? Hearing none, is there? Thank you,
I move we
Mr.
approve
Hoover.
Resolution 2022-11.
Your second,
Yeah.
second by Mr. Campbell. All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Hoover,
Aye.
Mr. Hopper,
Aye.
Mr. Harris, Mr. Campbell.
All right.
All right, motion approved 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sherman.
Thank you.
All right,
Enjoy your
next up,
trip.
yeah, thanks. Resolution number 2022-03, a resolution of the Greenwood Redevelopment Commission declaring an amendment to the Greenwood East Side Economic Development Area and the Economic Development Plan therefore. I don't, if there's more on the caption, it got cut off, sorry.
Good afternoon. I'm obviously my name's Adam. So I'm here to represent on the financial items relative to Redevelopment Commission, and then Cam Starnes from TAP, who's been working on this initiative as well, is here to answer any questions you may have relative to the resolution documents. Attempt to share the screen. We prepared a brief 5-slide PowerPoint, as there's a variety of different amendments in here. I wanted to prepare an overview to help guide discussion. Overview of the amendments. All of these tie back to the existing East Side Economic Development Area and either amend existing TIF parcels, in some cases create new allocation areas, parcels within the East Side Economic Development Area as well. The plan supplements, the plan amendments specifically are triggered by the following: Pride 1 rental development out east was recently annexed. Developments projects along County Line Road, I-65. Variety of east side roadway improvements. Clarification around the North City Center parking lot improvements, as well as the Emerson Point rental project on Emerson Avenue as well. The updated allocation area boundaries, which I'll show here via a map at the moment, primarily are one of two purposes. The largest volume as far as parcel edits are actually a removal of certain residential parcels from the central expansion. It's by far the largest volume of changes. The second type of category changes has to do with removing and replacing existing TIF parcels in the new and updated areas. As far as the current TIF districts within the area, specifically, we'll focus on the East Side Economic Development Area for now. There was the original East Side out area that expanded, and then around 2013 was the central expansion area, which is actually a fairly broad allocation area at the time, as well as the Airport Parkway allocation area also fits within the East Side Economic Development Area. With respect to the amended TIF districts, try to call a few of these out. So we have the parcel lists if you'd like to see those. But the largest update by pure count of TIF parcels is the central expansion. So when this was originally, when the boundaries were originally drawn, there were quite a few residential properties that were included in that area. And over the years, we've been able to refine that plan, and it's the direction of city planning, engineering, and review committee that all looked at this, that majority of those residential parcels are likely to have stayed residential and therefore aren't really serving any immediate benefit to the area. So we thought just good housekeeping, it was best to remove those. And it's quite a few. It's approximately 900 to 1,000 parcels being removed from that area. We did work with the capital projects manager, the redevelopment owner's rep advisor, outside legal, et cetera, to make sure that we did leave in a few select residential areas that are still high importance and likelihood to potentially go commercial. But the majority of the amendments in the central area, essentially just to remove those residential properties. Looking more east, the city, the yellow parcel, it's the existing I-65 east that's being removed and essentially created into a new allocation area. You'll also see the Emerson Point project. That's a net new parcel through that project. So there's a new allocation area being proposed there, as well as in the blue for the Combs Road allocation area, which maps back to the Pride 1 rental development. I believe I've addressed most of the changes here. Again, we could provide any of the parcel lists. The links are available in the presentation. Just let us know if you have any questions. You should have a link to a spreadsheet of the actual parcels, as well as a map of the area. Other than the central area, they're mostly single site or minimal site type allocation areas. Lastly, I'd like to invite Cam up from TAP to speak through the process. It's been a while since we've done an amendment, to talk through the steps, what you have for you procedurally, as well as what the reporting requirements are for the underlying tax districts that may be impacted as well. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Good afternoon. I'm aware that you have all done this before, but we thought it was a good review, like Adam mentioned, just to go through the multi-step process that is mandated by statute for amending a TIF in this nature. So what you have, I believe, on your agenda this evening is a declaratory resolution. That's something that we've worked in with city staff and advisors on reducing to writing to speak to the mechanics of these changes, and have coordinated well with Councilor Watson on that document. That starts the process and declares an intent to make those changes that are specified in that resolution. From there, should you all vote to approve and adopt that resolution this afternoon, there would be a consideration by the Planning Commission of an order that would determine whether or not the changes that the declaratory resolution speaks to are consistent with the comprehensive plan for the city. If so, that then goes on to the Common Council to consider an affirmation of that order, declaring the consistency with the common plan, and then would return to you all. I think we are targeting the July agenda for a public hearing on the declaratory resolution, and that timeline may be subject to change depending on other pressures on the agenda, et cetera. But the Redevelopment Commission, having adopted the declaratory resolution and having gone through the Planning Commission and the council, would have a public hearing on the declaratory resolution. That hearing would be noticed in the paper, would also be noticed directly to the overlapping taxing units, and would any landowner that owns property being added to an allocation area as part of the changes would get direct notice of that public hearing as well, 10 days in advance thereof. And then following the public hearing, generally on the same agenda, this commission would consider a confirmatory resolution that simply documents that having gone through all the process of the public hearing, the Redevelopment Commission is confirming the changes that the declaratory resolution outlines. So that's just an overview of the process. Again, it's multiple steps. multiple boards, commissions, et cetera. Wanted to be clear what to expect there. Glad to answer your questions on that.
Any further questions, commission members?
Timetable to get us back here before second Tuesday in July. I think that would be something pretty, I guess, self-explanatory the way you have done it, so.
Yeah, and I want to be clear that there's certainly policy considerations there. If the city staff or advisors or a board or commission wanted additional time to consider things, we can certainly extend it. We typically outline things on the most aggressive possible schedule because it's easier to change that way than the other way around. Certainly doable. The plan commission, it's a pretty limited look at the consistency with the comp plan, council as well. There's a lot of notices to go out, et cetera, but I think we've done a lot of front end work to try to get our ducks in a row. So I think we can keep to that schedule unless there's other considerations.
All right. Any other questions, comments from anyone? All right, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
A second.
I believe I heard Mr. Harris and a second by Mr. Hoover.
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell,
Aye.
Mr. Harris,
Aye.
Mr. Hopper.
Aye.
Mr. Hoover.
Aye.
Motion is approved 4-0. All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right, no old business, capital project reports, downtown revitalization, consideration of contract for services with NASB Construction for the demo of 102 South Madison and 327 West Pearl Street.
Good afternoon. Yeah, this is the former Between the Bund, former Casa Miguel site, as well as the house immediately to the west of it that we obtained a right of entry from and has foundation issues and could potentially be included in a redevelopment of that intersection there, or that parcel of the intersection of Pearl and Madison. This is for the demolition of both buildings. We reached out to about everyone we knew. We got 2 quotes back, and the lowest was NASB at $59,900 for the structure, the house, and the garage with the house. It's payable from Central TIF and get as a potential development parcel, redevelopment parcel on Madison.
All right, any questions for Mr. Steinmetz? All right, hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Yes, motion by Mr. Hoover, second by Mr. Campbell. Was that you, sir?
Yes.
Any further questions, comments from commission members? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell,
Aye.
Mr. Harris,
Aye.
Mr. Hopper.
Aye.
Mr. Hoover.
Aye.
All right, motion is approved 4-0. Next up, consideration of grant to Greenwood Community Development Corporation to acquire 200 East Main Street.
This is the first
Do we need to see him?
um,
Do we need to see Mr. Hopper?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I can see you, but you can't see me. There we go. Can you see me now?
this is
Still
the-
aye.
This is the
Good catch,
first
Mr. Campbell. Sorry.
to request grant 300,000 from the RDC to the GCDC to purchase, demolish, conduct any environmental reviews, which there will be some of what remains of the co-op elevator contract, property that is immediately adjacent to what we've internally named our residential block redevelopment parcel north of the fire station. Done voluntarily by the owner there, reached out to us. So then we would have pretty impressive assemblage, especially if you look on Google Maps and think back to just 2018, what that area looked like. And then we could, at that point, start to move forward with potential RFP for that assembled project. But again, this is the first. Come back with a little more detail. Next meeting, it's over $100,000. So,
Did you say that amount was 300,000?
correct. And on tomorrow's, or not tomorrow's, next month, I'll bring a slide that shows what the purchase of the building is anticipated, hopefully, demo cost. And I think we'll have to probably get a phase 1 started on that area. But probably a phase 2. So it's been vacant for over a year.
Any other questions, comments for Kevin? Nope, hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
By rule, this is just an introduction.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,
Unless
thank you.
there's some desire to expedite.
No.
Sorry.
We
Yep.
need, we need time to assemble quotes for demo and with this environment, so we're plenty fine with that basis done.
I'm glad somebody spoke up, Mr. Watson. You couldn't just let me hang there. I thought, nice work. Okay then, next up, Greenwood Fieldhouse project, consideration of contract for services with certified lawn care.
Yeah, so this is the whole front area at the field house. Stormwater department requires that after a certain amount of days, when you've torn up turf, you need to reseed it back. This was all the area in front where those 2 sidewalks come out and connect to Serena Way, where they staged to build a lot of that front facade and build the big kind of foundation concrete in front of the field house as well as that. We didn't love the prices gotten back from the field house contractor, plus their bond, plus their 10% markup on that bigger price. So we just went around and got quotes from landscapers to seed it and return it back to a compliant grass area in front of it that summer camp kids are walking all over that area all the time. If you've been in Old Town, they seem to be moving them from this community center to field house back to Park. So it's kind of cool to see that area being included in Old Town. And the number on that is 4,635 to basically restore that, I guess what used to be the Greenwood Middle School football field. It is now that green area between the field house and the swing play.
All right. Now, how about a motion to approve? How about that?
I'll make that motion.
All right, thank you, Mr. Campbell. There's a second.
Harris, a second.
Second by Mr. Harris. Thank you, sir. Any questions, comments from anyone? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Hoover,
Aye.
Mr. Hopper,
Aye.
Mr. Harris,
Aye.
Mr. Campbell.
Aye.
Motion is approved 4-0. Next up, Greenwood Sports Park Complex, change order 001R1, reduction in scope.
Yeah, so this is a reduction to the Greenwood Sports Park contract of $507,272. We sat down with the contract, I guess I should back up. when we created the documents for the entire 40 acres, basically it included an entire park completely built out the way you would build out the whole park. We always knew this was kind of an ambitious goal and we may have to scale back a bit, especially with the environment we're in. And so once we could see what everything cost, some of the different loop trails around, some of the extra kind of landscaping, as you know, with Freedom Park, while it's bigger, we've done big projects in there, but added other features throughout times. And so we tried to decide to get it back down to the number we needed for the budget and what could be added later. Also, just some feedback from the contractor as to what, for example, hardy plank costs less to put on the outside of the concession stand building than metal siding as it was expected. So yeah, some other various deals. And then we also changed electricians as one of the subs they had for electricians. Just didn't kind of have the track record we wanted, so we worked with them to find a new one. So that did lead to a little bit of increase, was greatly outweighed by all the other kind of just kind of some reductions and things that could be added in earlier that would give us a little more breathing room financially on the project. Primarily, you see things like trail loops around the entire 40 acres where we finished everything in the bid and we scaled back a bit.
So the reduction of this change order is 507,000 some change.
Yeah, don't hold me to this one happening as many times, especially in today's world. But yeah, it's negative 507, 272,000. A lot of this again was sitting with the contractor and saying, what can you get? What is priced this way? You know, different types of hips on roofs, siding choices, etc. To yield this up.
All right. Any other questions for Kevin? I assume we need a motion to approve. Is that right?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Second by Mr. Hoover. All right. Any further discussion from commission members? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell,
Aye.
Mr. Harris,
Aye.
Mr. Hopper,
Aye.
Mr. Hoover,
Aye.
Motion is approved 4-0.
Thank you, gentlemen, very much.
Thanks, Kevin. Next up, monthly financial report.
If there's questions.
I didn't hear anything if Adam said something, so is he?
Adam's just
There
not
is again.
voting.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yep, it's, we just share it. If there's any questions, we're happy to take it. Otherwise, it's really the only other kind of update is your revenue chart probably doesn't look real compelling right now, but we're a week or two away from the spring tip settlements coming through. So those will update once we get those recognized. Otherwise, that's the update. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Adam. Department reports, Corporation Council, Mr. Hodson, if you're there, can't see clearly.
I'm here and we have no report.
Hi, Sam.
Hello.
RDC, Mr. Watson.
The only thing I have relates to the incentive agreement with One Click, and their last annual report has been provided. And I believe it was provided to the commission members for your review, and it's consistent with the requirements of the project agreement. And as part of their agreement, they had provided a letter of credit to secure their obligations, and they have requested that upon your review and acceptance of their final annual report, that you approve releasing that letter of credit. And so suggest that you find the report acceptable, that you act to release the letter of credit.
So moved.
Is it, I was gonna say, is that required now or is that a later thing?
In my opinion, it can be just done now. This is the last piece of the puzzle.
Motion by Mr. Hoover then. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Mr. Campbell. Roll call then.
Mr. Hoover,
Aye.
Mr. Hopper,
Aye.
Mr. Harris,
Aye.
Mr. Campbell,
Aye.
Motion is approved 4-0. Thank you, Mr. Watson.
Thank you.
Next up, City Controller, Mr. Wright.
Doesn't appear to be present.
Next up then, City Engineer, Mr. St. John.
Good afternoon. I have a couple of items on the agenda for you all tonight. I believe the first item on the agenda is consideration of change order number 18 for Worsville Road, Section 3. This change order is in the amount of $29,343.28. It covers the work to add a retaining wall. The retaining wall is located on the north side of the road near 308 West Worsville. Duke Energy relocated those very large transmission lines on the north side of the road for our project. They were relocated correctly horizontally. They were not accounted for in a vertical sense and an up and down sense. And so when we went to cut final grade for our roadway project, Duke told us we can't do that because we would expose their guy anchors and the pole would fall over. So the easiest way to correct this was to construct this retaining wall. Happy to answer any questions.
What was
Any
that?
questions?
What was the amount again?
$29,343.28. That's about 0.3% of the total contract amount, and in total, we have under 2.3% change orders on this contract.
I'll move to approve change order number 18.
Motion by Mr. Hoover. Is there a second?
Harris, second.
Second by Mr. Harris. Thank you, sir. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Campbell,
Aye.
Mr. Harris,
Aye.
Mr. Hopper,
Aye.
Mr. Hoover,
Aye.
All right. Change order 18 is approved 4-0.
The next item I have on the agenda is consideration of change order number 1 for Worsville Road, Section 2. That's the section that's actively under construction. If you've been out there, they're laying storm sewer and moving some dirt today. This change order takes into account several construction changes that happened before design began. Most of them addressed some storm sewer issues, adjusting elevations of rim inverts and rim elevations and inverts. There were some questions on median grading and curb ramp grading, and then one additional structure was added to account for an existing storm sewer system that was not accounted for in design. The amount of this change order is $15,218.79. It's about 0.16% of the total contract amount, and it's the first change order on this contract.
Questions from anybody? All right, hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
A motion to approve change order number 1.
Motion by Mr. Harris. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Hoover. Thank you, sirs. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hoover,
Aye.
Mr. Hopper,
Aye.
Mr. Harris,
Aye.
Mr. Campbell,
Aye.
Motion is approved 4-0.
The final item I have here is the presentation of bids for the Main Street Airport Parkway project, the traffic signal there. At our last meeting last month, you were given permission to go ahead and go off through these bids. I should say presentation of one bid, because we only received one from E&B paving in the amount of $1,071,523. Based on that dollar amount, it is staff's recommendation that we reject all bids on this project and consider what to do with this project moving forward.
I'll make that motion.
The screens are all dark.
Even mine?
Yeah, I mean, everything here is dark.
Oh, I don't know what to
can
tell
hear
you. I can see you.
You must bump it. I think it was in response to Mark's one point.
Screens are in shock as well.
Okay, there.
Thank you.
We're back to.
All right. I'll make the motion to reject all the bids. Is there a second?
Second.
Is that you, Mr. Campbell?
Yes, sorry.
No, you're fine. All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Harris,
Aye.
Mr. Campbell,
Aye.
Mr. Hopper,
Aye.
Mr. Hoover,
Aye.
Bids are all rejected 4-0. Thank you, Mr. St. John.
Thank you.
I do have a request.
Yeah.
It would be, I would like to have paper copies of the things you presented today would be helpful. And if you bring them to the meetings, that'd be great, but if we could get them in advance, that would be even better. That way I have a chance to review them before. And
Sure.
listening to you make the presentation is, for me, not as good as me being able to look at it on a piece of paper.
So I understand, I apologize.
Oh, no, that's all right.
For the agenda, I could email them to you directly or however you need it in the future, we can sort that out.
All right, thank you.
All right. I feel like I saw the mayor earlier. Is he still around?
Nope.
Not here.
All right. Nothing from the mayor's office. I'll take it then. Is there a motion to approve our June 2022 claims docket? And I couldn't tell you the amount because I don't have it in front of me. Sorry.
I will tell you, it's $2,845,800.27.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion?
So
All right. Everybody made it at once. And I didn't hear who. Who was
I think it
first?
was Hoover made the motion and Mr.
All right.
Campbell seconded.
All right. I will accept that.
Mr. Watson,
Any questions, comments, concerns?
David's signature on that.
Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell,
Aye.
Mr. Harris,
Aye.
Mr. Hopper.
Aye.
Mr. Hoover.
Aye.
All right. Claims docket is approved 4-0. Anything else from anybody in the council chambers or on the interwebs for us today? All right, hearing nothing, then we are adjourned. I appreciate it, everyone.
David, where are you?
French Lick.
Oh,
Yeah.